Hey, welcome to my podcast. And I know that we are here at home under very unusual circumstances because of the coronavirus. And I just thought it would be a great time to introduce all of you to my handsome husband, who's also a physician, to maybe shed some light on what's going on in the world and maybe take away some of your fears, reduce your stress and anxiety about everything here, because I know he's answered a lot of questions from me. So, Frank, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Could you tell everybody what your background is?
Yes, I'm a pathologist, and I guess most people think that means that we do autopsies or that we're forensic pathologists. But most pathologists study cancer or are in some subspecialty of cancer. We're very subspecialized now. So I do a lot of bone marrow, blood, hematopathology, a study of blood, cancers, lymph node pathology. That's my specialty, and I also do gastrointestinal pathology. Those are my two areas of expertise.
Sounds pretty impressive. Cheers to that. We wanted to cheer
It is a happy hour.
everybody to health, because your health is your wealth. So, we are here to shed some light on what's going on in the world, and because we don't normally have all this time together in the house, and we've been quarantined for 2 weeks already, and we're still both alive, which is really great, and learning more about each other every single day, right?
Right.
Because every day Frank teaches me something new about this virus, and I thought it would be a great idea if I could share this information with all of you listening out there. So could you just give us the rundown on this virus, why it's so, why is all of this happening? Why are businesses shut down? What's going on? Why is everybody so frightened?
So we've been starting to understand more about this virus, and we have been talking about this together before we did this. And what's impressive about it is, first of all, this virus is more toxic, especially to those who are older and who have underlying conditions. Those conditions mainly are pulmonary conditions, mainly having to do with smoking long-term and having chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Those patients are at risk because they can't clear the infection. Patients who have cardiac issues, who have had heart attacks, for some reason the virus, for reasons we don't completely understand right now, does have a toxic effect on the heart. In some patients, I think the data will come out about that.
Okay.
So first of all, we're dealing with it's very contagious in that, the statistics are that 1 in 3 people, one person infects approximately 3 people. So someone who's positive for coronavirus can infect people by coughing, by touching a surface and having the virus transferred from the surface to another person who touches that same area.
I wanted to ask you, the surfaces, okay? So I remember you told me that if, so we get packages from Amazon. How long, say somebody had the virus and touched my package, right? And it came to my house. How long does the virus stay on that cardboard?
They say approximately 24 hours. That's what they're saying.
Okay, so maybe it's best to keep those packages in the garage or outside for 24 hours?
Probably.
Okay, that's good to know. I know that I've been using gloves to open them up and leaving them out in the garage.
But to answer your question, we're dealing with a very toxic virus that has resulted in a pandemic. We haven't experienced anything like this in our lifetime.
No.
Right? We have to go back to the 1920s with that horrible flu, or the Spanish flu, which we're a little bit more sophisticated now. We understand these things, even though we probably didn't have good information when this first started.
But there was
in China.
isolation with influenza in the 20s.
There was some of the same things.
Yes.
There absolutely were.
When did the flu vaccine come out?
They've had the vaccine for many flus for years.
I know, but the vaccine's been around for the
For which?
flu.
We've
Like
had
when we
flu
were little
vac-
kids?
Yeah, we've had flu vaccines for the last 20 years.
Okay.
I would say something in that range.
No, we didn't get the We didn't get vaccines for the flu when we were kids. No.
I mean, I had to take it at the hospital for 15 years.
All right, because
20
you were in
years,
the hospital,
yeah.
but I don't. Okay.
I think and Jody and I, this is more of a perspective than an education. I mean, you can look at a lot of the stuff on TV, you can read the news. The news has political bias either way. So depending on your political bias, you may approach this different ways. But the fact is that it is a toxic, infectious virus, and it has a more deadly effect on those who have underlying conditions. The second thing that it's causing is an economic shutdown. Now, this is something we haven't seen before. The SARS virus was very deadly. Was also
Also known as the swine flu.
2009. That was a pretty bad flu.
I don't even remember. I remember it, but I don't remember it like it didn't affect us like it's affecting us now.
It did. It's not like this, but it was a deadly virus, not quite like this one, that spread throughout the world essentially.
So that was pandemic.
It was.
So what was
SARS.
what do you know of what the difference is between the two viruses?
I'm not an expert on all of the
Right.
details on the SARS virus. I just know that we had over 1,000 deaths with that virus.
In the U.S.
And yes, and the same patients, the same patient population with the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
Oh, okay. So just like the flu does, the flu affects the same population.
Right.
So okay, all right.
So I think in conjunction with the economic impact that this is having in our country, and it's affecting people financially and economically on an individual basis, their monthly incomes, how they're going to take care of their families and pay their bills, and corporations and supply side economics. It's impacting. We've never seen anything like that before. So people are doubly anxious. First of all, they don't want to get coronavirus, right? And second of all,
Can I stop you for a second? So we have this really cool picture behind us right now. Frank bought it for me for my birthday one year, and it looks like Marilyn Monroe's leg is sticking out of your head.
Right.
So, all right, just wanted to let you know what the picture was. So, no, she can't come up here. Okay, no. We have a beautiful dog, and she's trained not to come on this beautiful ultra suede purple sofa. No, sit. Okay.
So I think economically, it's pretty concerning and pretty. It is an interruption that was not anticipated, and then of course the third thing is our physical and spiritual health. Being isolated, life is changing week to week. This is something that I think we're going to end on, that Jody feels very strongly about. But our lives have been impacted in ways that we never imagined, and that change from week to week. I mean, people.
I mean, 2 weeks ago, we were down.
Routine schedule.
2 weeks ago, sorry, down. 2 weeks ago, we were in Brooklyn to go to a concert that we had planned on going to, a very small concert. And I remember Frank saying on the way home from the concert, things are going to change daily with this. And he was so right about that. And I had no idea how it was really going to impact us. I had a feeling my studio was going to be closed. I own a fitness studio, but I had no idea we would be isolated and be quarantined like this at all. And sorry for the squeaking now that Ava isn't in the picture. So for those of you who have dogs, I'm sure you're very grateful that you have your pups with you. Okay, you had to tell her to come over and go on the sofa. Good job, Frank. All right, no, this is good. Let's keep going.
So, and of course, the final thing is, because this is changing, you have an impact on your mental, emotional, and actually physical well-being. Most people, gyms are closed. Whether you're an advocate of working out or you're fastidious about that or not, when it's taken from you, you want to do it more. And I think that having all of these large gyms and even small gyms closed, people who are used to working out, that has a major impact on our emotional well-being, you know, our sense of well-being, and also I think that the process that we've outlined can result in some degree of depression. So it's more important than ever for us to think about those things, how this is impacting us emotionally and physically, and our ability to work out and to take care of ourselves more critically than ever, because this will probably go on for another several months.
So Frank, when I was getting the toy away from Ava so she wouldn't squeak anymore, I had to give her a treat. He was talking about depression and depression mentally, spiritually. So when you feel depressed mentally, you don't want to do anything. So it's so important that you don't allow yourself to get depressed, that you get up and you move every day. And Frank works out almost every single day. And why don't you tell them about the story about the gym?
Sure. So when this first started,
and you work out mostly, I mean, you work out to maintain your muscle mass, but you also work out for your mental health.
For sure.
I mean, so if anybody
Absolutely.
out there who works out, you realize that, you know, the workout is great for your body, but it's just as good for your mindfulness and your mind. If you're feeling sad, you know, you can't be sad when you're working out. So anyway, tell them about your gym
you know,
situation.
The sequence, you know, to a living proof that everything will change.